QuickBooks Pro Desktop 2021. Tax line mapping. Export trial balance to Excel. Let's get into it with Intuit QuickBooks Pro Desktop 2021. Here we are in our test tax mapping file. We currently have the open windows open. You can open the open windows by going to the view dropdown, selecting the open windows list. In a prior presentation, we exported the information directly from QuickBooks into our tax program, Lacert being owned by Intuit, and we used the tax mapping to import it into an individual tax return into basically the Schedule C. And then we went down and we said, okay, let's take a look at what is in here, and now we need to kind of reconcile what's in the Schedule C, or this is what I would do. I would want to reconcile it so that I can kind of feel confident that it's correct, is down here, and we see that the taxable income is currently at the $127,000. I'd like to reconcile that now to what is in the QuickBooks system. If I go back to QuickBooks here, and we're going to say, okay, reports drop down. Let's go to the company and financial. Take a look at the profit and loss for the date range 01/01/19 to 12/31/19, which is what we exported. It's currently at the 100,000 here. So 100,000 here. It's at the 127 there. And, or I'm sorry, it's at the, well, after the home office deductions, it's at the 116,582. So I would like to see what the reconciling differences are. Now, sometimes if there's not too many reconciling differences, you can just basically go to the bottom of this thing and say, these are the tax adjustments that we made to it, and just do a little reconciliation, and that's it. That might be all well. But if it's a longer return and it's more complicated, I like to do it in Excel and have like an adjusting entry process that we can see the double entry accounting system at work and check it out in that format. Therefore, I would then adjust this in Excel. So I'm going to export basically our trial balance to Excel and build a worksheet from it, something like this, which looks kind of complex, but it's not too difficult to set up once you've done it a couple times. And then I want to see if I can do the adjusting entries to have a reconciliation for our records in terms of what's on the books versus what's in the tax return. So the goal is to kind of get our reconciliation process done at this point. So to do that, reports drop down. We're going to go to the accounting and taxes. Take a look at the trial balance. I want the trial balance from 01/01/19 to 12/31/19. There's our trial balance. And so I'm going to export this. This is exactly what was exported into the tax system. I'm going to export it to Excel then and use that for my adjustments to do our reconciliation from book to tax. So I'm going to say, okay, let's hit the Excel drop down. I'm going to export to a new worksheet, and then I'm going to create a new workbook as well. So I'm going to have a new workbook that we will be creating as well. So here's what it looks like. This first tab, I'll typically like delete this first tab. I'll right click on it and just delete that tab. And then I'm going to go to the second tab. This is kind of our building blocks. I will generally go to the second view screen, page layout view, and say okay, because it's got these splits on it now, split screens. So I go up to the view screen up top and I remove the splits, Windows, remove the splits. So there we have that. And then I'll go back to the first tab, and there's our trial balance. So then I'll just take this information and adjust it, and we'll do this in a future presentation to look something more like this, or at least possibly not have these first two columns maybe, and just have these three columns so that we can then do our reconciliation tax adjustments there so we can see our reconciliation. So therefore, I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm going to go to the File, Save As, so we can put it where we want it to be. And then I'm going to put it so I put it to the tax accounts, and this is going to be the, I'll call it the let's call it trial balance for the Schedule C business. And so I'll keep it that and save that. And I'm going to say yes, save it without macros. And there we have it. So in future presentations, we'll get into just formatting this. And this will get a little bit deeper into Excel rather than, QuickBooks, because we're going to basically format it to be here. And then we'll do our little reconciliation process so that we can tie into what's on the tax return and make any adjustments or some adjustments to show how that might be done.